the camera.
We're just gonna have a conversation, just both
Me
of
and
us,
you,
and then
okay.
the cameras just happen to be there. uh, a real pleasure to have you here in Rabat. It's
For me.
in this space as well. I would love to start from the beginning of your journey as an architect, and would love to know how did you start, or when did you find your calling for architecture?
This is one difficult question, but why born architect? I believe that each people have one talent. Sometimes some people recognize very fast, other no. But I born architect, so how do you say here in Morocco, inshallah? It's important to find the inspiration as soon as possible. But I live in one amazing house because my father was a painter. My mother was a teacher of art. So I born there. But my talent stay behind me, inside me. Because one guy can learn, can develop his things. But I believe that when one guy decides to do architecture or become a singer or another story, he know.
That's I mean, from your background, there's arts in your background, so it really shows in your style. Which brings me to my next question. When we start working as an architect or as an artist, there's years and years of process and learning and working on your craft. How does one develop a signature or a style for architecture or design?
This is a difficult question also, because if you think that in my office we take care about different kind of projects. We take care about master plan, architecture, interior, design, corporate, because I believe that one project is one project. And my own style, when start? I don't know. In the past. But the precisely idea for create a masterpiece that I have in my mind start a lot of years ago when I was young. When I think to give advice, a consult to the students or to the young guy, I think that the right answer is believe in your dream. If you have a dream, all is possible. If you follow the dream, all is possible, can be possible. But it's important to follow the dream, also believe in his own power.
That's very powerful. Okay. So in this era of time, architecture is changing and design is changing and all creative fields are changing. How can a creative, how can a person working in a creative field stay up to date or follow the trends that are going without losing that essence or uniqueness in the work?
I come back to the question before because it's important believing in his dream. Also, understand the spirits of our time. Follow the time. Each month is different. Each day is different. Each year is really different. But I make an exemplification for you. In the project If you speak about interior design, for example, there is two possibilities for work. We have the possibility to choose from the market some piece of design and put together in their creative dimension, and we create one interior, more beautiful or terrible, wonderful or not, but it's fine. It's possible from you, for your sister, for one architect or not, in relation of the choice that one people do with the creative spirits. But when one artist, one creator, realize one interior design, don't create the interior with creativity, with on head, heart, and stomach. So he create one masterpiece, but in this case you live one experience with one creator. So one creator, if the time change, don't change, proceed. I don't like to speak about the work of my colleague, but if you remember one very interesting work that one my French friend did in the past, I speak about Philip Stark. He realized the name is the hotel in New York. I don't remember the name. But now this hotel, till 40 years, also now is like this. Also, a lot of my creation remain after 30 years like this, because it's a masterpiece. So the time change, but for one real creator, not creative guy, but for one creator, all proceed, but the situation don't change.
So speaking about the creative work or the creator or the essence or the creativity in the process, can you walk us with you and explain how or what's your process looking like when you have a new project? We know there's a variety of projects that you work on inside your firm. How do you deal with this diversity of projects, and how do you what's the angle that you start with?
So
walk us with you.
I give to you my secrets, but I'm a lucky guy, very lucky guy, because when one architect start to work, can have some suggestion, have some idea, because look one magazine or have one or remember one story that he see. But for me is completely different situation, because I receive one inspiration from the God. So when I speak with you for one work, you explain to me the functionality, the story that you desire to develop. I listen. And then I start to think. And then, I don't know if immediately or not, come to me one idea. But I have a vision. But if I rely on one little project or one very big project, it's the same. I have a vision. When arrive the vision? I don't know, but arrive. Now, today or tomorrow, arrive the vision. I'm very fast at draw, because I'm not able to use a computer. But I design with my hands and one with my pen that I designed for Heidelberg. I designed one pen. I use only my pen. I design very fast without the rubber, because it's not necessary to use the rubber, because all my vision is perfect. So I design very fast, and then I give the project to my collaborator that develop. And when I design, I think about all material, shape, function, lighting, because I consider the lighting like concrete, like one physical material. So, inshallah, I believe in God. I receive this amazing, lucky story from the God, because I have a vision. I design very fast because I am a amazing designer. But now it's not so important, of course, also for the young generation, because there is a computer. But when I start, no, there is a pen, a paper, that's all. So I proceed in this direction, but now the important is the result in architecture, not the draw. So you can, I wait the moment for use the video and the possibility to create the shape with my finger. I wait this moment, because this will be extraordinary for me, because if I receive one idea, I can realize in few minutes with my finger. I am a man of the future.
So this spiritual approach of trusting the idea that you have and trusting your vision, was it always there with you in your journey? Or if you could pinpoint a moment where you really realized that this is how, I trust this idea. When did you start using that to move and trust that idea and trust that you can take this idea from that vision to reality? Was it always there?
I receive one message and then I start. Before I listen, I repeat. And then I start when is the right moment. For example, I was in Albania, in the north of Albania, to see one big land on 12 hectares. And my client said to me, I decided to realize one hotel on 300 room, one hotel on 200 room, one hotel on 150 room, and 80 villas. And then we decided one place for the horse, one part for the gym, the swim. So I receive all information and look the space. Very interesting, in the forest. And then when I come back to the airport with him, I stay in silence. And my client said to me, "What's happened? You stay well, all is fine for you? It's fine. Don't speak with me. I make a reflection for you." So we spend 2 hours in silence till the airport, but the idea born. So when I arrive in Milano, in my studio at 9 o'clock, all is my head is completely clear, but for 12,000 square meters, so very big. I design in 6 hours till 3 o'clock in the morning the project, or the architectural project, with the dimension, the functionality, the material I use for this village, curtain steel. But I receive one vision from the God, so very fast. But sometimes it's necessary to wait. But for example, if one client gives to me one new project to do, I don't receive the idea, I wait. But if I finish my time, forgive the idea tomorrow, the idea, I don't receive the idea, in 5 minutes come before the appointment. I'm very lucky.
Beautiful. So can you take us back to your years of architecture studies, and what were you like as an architecture student, and maybe give some advice for the young creatives for the future that they're
I believe
waiting
that one important question is, I say for 3 times, don't lose the dream. This is the first. The second is change the perspective. Try to look out of the box for create a new project. When one guy start one new project don't know anything about this argument, it's necessary that before study a lot if he don't have experience. Then he can start to create one project. But study, don't for copy. Don't take care about the memory about this, for change the situation. But it's important to study, for understand what's happened before, what's happened now, for create one unique story. And this is difficult, I know, but it's very important. So the history is too important. Because he used the pencil or the computer for create something, and he having the possibility to study, to understand the whole period, the past, the present, actual present, and start to design, make a mistake. And for example, to my students in the university, I say to them, don't, perhaps I don't know if you know this story in the university, when perhaps in architecture, but also in interior, a lot of professors say to the students, study for me the mood board.
Yes.
Perhaps you know mood board.
Absolutely.
This is a terrible story. I don't approve. Why? Mood board is one thing. Material board is another thing. I love material board. So the choice that you have for create one architecture. But the mood board, what means? That you have some reference that you like, bring the reference and put in the project. This is too simple. It's impossible to create one masterpiece if you start for some fixed point that you have in your mind. For create one masterpiece, one really very important architecture and interior, it's important lose the memory. Understand, read, take inspiration, they cancel. For think. Block the mind in one point. Study the light. For example, before we have in the studio one amazing light at one point. Now he disappeared. So remember this point of light, the shadow. This is another story. The third is change the vision. For example, if I speak about the luxury, one journalist 2 days ago said to me, Simone, explain me your idea about the luxury in architecture. I say to the journalist that the luxury for me in architecture is not like in the past. So in the past, the luxury is use the gold, titanium, marble, and other precious material. Now the luxury is completely different. It is for me, one new relationship from man, space, and time. Now we do together one podcast. This time we decide to spend our time to speak together. We lose time? No. We live together one luxury moment. Because I decide to spend my time with you. You decide to spend the time with me. So we decide. The main luxury story now is the time that we have to spend in our land. So the luxury now is the simplicity. I stay in one very interesting studio. Compliment for the creator, because all is clear, all is white, all element is in the right point. I appreciate very much. Each architect, each artist, and own view. But in this place that I stay now, all is coherent. Another point is the coherence. For this reason, I said to you before that I use the light like a concrete, a physical material. Because with the wrong using of the light, it's possible to destroy one project. So it's important to study, understand the spirits of the light. One amazing architect a lot of years ago say one phrase like this, Louis Kahn, when the light touch the angle of one building, recognize his magnitude, because create one shadow. So this is very important. The coherence is important. Also the sustainability is important in one project. But not only the eco-compatible story, but commercial sustainability. So it's important to use material that can give the possibility to the client to make money. So less is better than more. We can use concrete, very anti-precious material, but the lighting, the color, in the simplicity direction. My philosophy, in two words, says like this: I try to transform the complexity of our time in simplicity. That's all.
That's a beautiful approach. Would love to talk about your relationship with Morocco, because you have done some projects here in Morocco, and you are now in Morocco. I would love to know your relationship with the Moroccan architecture and the Moroccan landscape in general.
I love a lot the people and the history of Morocco, because it's very close to Italy. We are brother. I love this place. I love the lady also, because there is a wonderful lady here. And my philosophy starts from the observation of the nature, also the woman, because I love the woman, the shape, because is fluid, like nature. In the nature, all is fluid, all is continuous. And your culture in your country, it's very old. The place represent for me one iconic situation. It's important to proceed very fast. I worked some years ago in Casablanca for one interior design of one villa, so I realized only one project in your country. Perhaps now we can start with other work to create one landmark in this amazing place, because like in all cities all over the world, you find terrible architecture, also in Morocco, but perhaps the situation is more terrible in a lot of cities in Italy, because after one incredible ancient period, the men usually realize building for make money. That's all. So don't think to the quality of the life of the building. So now it's important to come back to the past. Come back to the past for imagine another kind of vision, for give more quality to the life, more quality to the building. I believe that in your city, where the white color is the main point, I appreciate very much, because this is my favorite color, it's possible to create a very interesting project, inshallah.
I know that we don't have much time together. I would love to talk to you more and more, because it was very insightful to me. I could feel the experience and the work that you've done through your words. Thank you so much for accepting the invite. I would love to take some questions from the crowd, because the crowd is in the architecture field. So if possible, we could take some few questions and then to finish on that. So do you have any questions? Don't be shy. Fat. Yeah.
I believe that it's too important realize a real masterpiece. It's simple to see, it's difficult to realize. What means realize masterpiece? So one iconic and luxury project means start from one different position, intellectual position. I explain with one sample. During the Olympic game in the north of Italy, I believe in 2004, but I don't remember the precisely date. I realized the restaurant for the Olympic game in Torino, in the north of Italy. The mayor of Region Piemonte said to me, Simone, come to visit the restaurant, come to test the restaurant of Davide Scabin, one amazing chef. So I was there, I arrived in the restaurant, the chef, because now the chef is too important, respect the architect. The architect, the value of the architect is zero. The chef, it's amazing, it's like a star. So the star don't come to me to say hello, but the assistant. So the assistant says to me, do you prefer eat the traditional kitchen or experimental? I say experimental. We have 24 dishes. I explain to you only one. The first dish is virtual oyster. I say to him, I can't eat oyster. I'm allergic. It's impossible for me. Don't worry, architect. I speak to you about virtuality, not reality. I'm sorry, but I'm a Florentine guy. We have the way very little, very ancient place. I don't know about this metropolitan idea, this modern. So we make a game together. And then in a few minutes arrive the virtual oyster. One little dishes of ceramic, one cube of watermelon, one little fish on the top. And the artist say to us, now close your eyes, bring with the finger the cube of watermelon, start to have a taste like touch one oyster because it's like a fluid. When you put the cube in your mouth, you discover one amazing taste of one real oyster. When I remember this story, I'm very excited because this taste is, I remember this taste like a taste of wow, incredible oyster, but it's not an oyster, one virtual oyster. What means? That when you live one experience that become memory, means that you live one masterpiece. You don't eat spaghetti, or pizza, One virtual oyster is another story. It's food, yes, but it's a masterpiece. If you live one experience like this, you remember. You can speak about this. And this instrument become one amazing instrument to build, to create one more value for the building, because it's a real masterpiece to that have one big power in the communication. So this means create masterpiece. One different story, but very different. Not only for the shape, for all. But it's possible if you find in your heart.
Any other questions?
There's this saying that goes, good artists copy, but great artists steal. What's your take on that?
I don't understand.
So it's a quote that, well, they say that Picasso used to say that good artists usually get inspiration from others and from others' work, while great artists take someone else's idea and interpret it as their own, in their own vision and way. And now I know how important it is for young architectures or architecture in general, architects in general, to develop their own identity. So day?
It's important make love, go to take some vision to the museum, stay in the city, work, study, eat, life.
So live. It's very important
Live
to
the
live.
life. And then you can discover one way. Discover. I said before that when we start the conversation, perhaps I said about this, when it's possible, find his own way for create interesting project. It's not simple, but it's simple. If you have the passion, the important is this: have the passion. So I'm like I don't know in English, prete, the prior guy. No? Yeah. Because during the night, during the evening, during the morning, my life is linked to architecture. But when I was young, the story was the same. So I say to you perhaps you discover, but all start in your mind, in your heart, in your stomach also, because you can learn. But if you are in Italy, we say fuori classe. Fuori classe is one amazing guy that has big talent. You can't study for arrive there. You are. Now you perhaps you don't recognize. In 3 years, yes, or you discover before. But there is one moment that you understand that you are unique. For do this, I explained before, the mood board for me is wrong, because it's important to see, but for create one unique project, it's important don't start from precisely point. Make a reflection, dream, make yoga, smoke, drink, what you want, but concentrate in another kind of story. For example, I don't love the angle, but now it's difficult in our life because there is one very important architect that I love. She died a few years ago, Zaha Hadid. But Zaha Hadid is one lady of the future, because now in our period it's impossible think that the architecture become like this, because the price for the realization is too much, because you know that in our period the architecture is one period like ancient Rome, wall and floor. This is the technology. In the design is different, because we start to understand that it's possible to create each shape with a few money, because there is the technology. In architecture, no. So it's necessary to, for example, for create round shape, spend a lot of money. For have one reduction of the cost, it's necessary to use wall and floor. This is now the situation. But also in this case, for come back to your answer, it's important that you discover in your mind this story. It's important. It's not so simple to explain which is the way. I don't know, but I know that if you have a passion, try to jump in the future, in your future, because I am on my style, but I'm Simone Micheli. When I finish my life, finish the story. Perhaps some guy start from my point and proceed and improve one story that start from my idea, but it's important create starting from one idea, another completely different idea. This is the story.
Amazing. Perhaps one last question, Osama, maybe?
Yes. same as in Italy, as in Europe, or and how much you take in consideration the context where the project?
Oh, this is one interesting question, but I believe that it's important to understand the spirits of one place. Very important. But if you think, for example, on the city all over the world, you find a different piece of architecture in the city, in contrast one by another one. We have in the world only one city that born in the same moment in Brazil, in design from I lose I lose the name. Richard Oscar Niemeyer, Brasilia. No? But it's amazing city if you look the shape, but don't run. It's not good for the function because it's one intellectual idea. But the city is different. The city, if we speak about the building in the city, but also in the country, is like a piece of paper where each architect, each developer put his sign. But the amazing story of the city that if each piece is different. So if I think about your culture or your country, I prefer to come back with my mind to the nature, to the sand, to the desert, to the camel. My impression, to the color of the sky for create one story. Sure, my architecture perhaps have the round shape because this is my style, but change in respect of the place that I find. For example, I realized one diffuse hotel in Matera in the south of Italy. And I work inside of the rock in one very ancient situation. I enter in the point of my feet because I enter inside and I find one architecture, not one interior. One architecture created from the man that realized the piece of art. Put outside the stone. I enter inside, I decide, for example, using the lighting on the floor for don't touch the wall. I decide to use only furniture white, very simple, for the respect of the historical situation. So the place is very important for start with one architecture. But for example, sometimes I create one new project in one very terrible situation because I believe I said before that one city is like a piece of paper. The one other architect realized one building here, one building here, one building, all terrible. So if I realize one building in one situation like this, perhaps I try to close the view because it's not important to see the space around because the space is terrible. So who live in this, if we realize apartment, who will live here, look outside and find terrible situation. So it's better to create one satinette story on the window or put some flower in front of the window around 2 meters more so the people can see your garden. This is one idea in general. For this reason, I say to you that it's very important to understand the spirits of the place. Sure, one architect like me use his shape, the shape that I have in his heart, for create one new iconic sign in one place, different from the other story. Because I know that in your ancient culture there is the decorative sign, the air that enter inside, the shadow, because there is a lot of sun. So this is interesting to understand that perhaps it's not very good now for the sustainability to create in Rabat or in Casablanca one glass building, because is too much expensive for the management, because there is the sun very hard. So it's better perhaps come back to the past to create some design for create one skin for give shadow inside. If this is one idea, but it's important to discover in the heart.
Thank you. I think that's
It's
a wrap.
a pleasure for me.
Thank you so much for your time. It's a real pleasure. It was an amazing episode. Thank you.